160,000 TV and movie actors are going to go on strike. And this will be the largest actor action with this union since the 60s. The writers have been on strike for a while. Many of the actors' demands are similar to that of the writers in the way that they're getting paid with streaming services, or not paid, to be a bit more accurate. Here was Margot Robbie at the premiere of Barbie, basically showing support for other actors. I saw Matt Damon also said something, trying to maybe make up some ground after the whole crypto.com stuff, at least in my heart. But here we go, Margot Robbie on the premiere of maybe the biggest movie so far in the summer, speaking about the writer's strike.
Just finally, very quickly, there might be a strike tonight. Are you in support of the strike? And
absolutely.
Would you be prepared to strike as well?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm very much in support of all the unions, and I'm a part of SAG, so I would absolutely stand by that.
Very nice, Queen. Literally perfect on the outside and the inside. Amazing. Can't wait for that
British?
movie. She's Australian.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So my fiance and I just watched.
All right. And then this was from Matt. You unearthed this.
From
Maybe
the previous
you can
strike
explain this.
a decade and a half ago. And what happened here is my recollection, I was watching late night every night at this time, and like I told Sam, that was one of my first sort of introductions to labor actions. We didn't really have strikes that I could remember in North Dakota, for instance. And what's going on here is I believe Letterman's show is airing with writers, because at the start of the strike he owned his own show and accepted all the union demands and basically continued broadcasting, paying the writers and everything like that.
Was this when Koenig was spinning his wedding ring because there were no writers? In
exactly.
solidarity.
Exactly. So that's where Letterman's coming from here.
Oh my God, it's horrible, and it's going on, and it really should be stopped, and some reason should be applied. I mean, it's pitting brother against brother. And the big media companies have been criticized, I guess you know this, for refusing to negotiate. But judging from this announcement, it seems like maybe the writers might be the ones who are being unreasonable.
Really?
Yeah, can you believe that? All along, we thought the enemy was big corporate show business.
Well, sure.
Well, based on this announcement, maybe we're wrong.
No kidding.
Yeah, maybe the writers have been unreasonable.
I'd like to see this announcement.
All right. All right, well, we have it right here. Yeah. Go ahead and take a look.
The Writers Guild of America is trying to portray the studios as greedy and unwilling to compromise, but consider the facts. When the writers complained about their share of revenue from online streaming of their programs, we proposed a contract that doubled their percentage. But the writers still refused to sign, even after we tripled and...
For folks just listening, there's a 0% crossed out by 2 0% and then a 3 0%.
Good.
It's a visual joke.
Good stuff. Letterman.
Their share of revenue from online streaming of their programs, we proposed a contract that doubled their percentage. But the writers still refused to sign, even after we tripled and quadrupled our offer. You just can't win with these people. The AMPTP, cowards, cutthroats, and weasels since 1982.
That's a beautiful thing.
Great bit. Love it. Good job, Letterman.
I'm very cynical about media's abuse or ability to be useful and helpful as opposed to be negative and poisonous to society. The one way that it is good is when it is being unequivocally pro-labor, and so that's what's good. You guys can jump in. I got someone else I want to tag on to this, though. Well, I'll just keep going. I've been seeing this stuff on Twitch of nurses, strike nurses,
right,
showing stuff about them traveling around, being like, "Look at how great it is to go make all this money." And this conversation I have with Chris Leal, who I've had on the show, who ran for office in Texas, but also now works in teachers unions. Like, we teach kids that peer pressure is bad. It's typically bad in a lot of cases. It is good when it comes to getting people to into solidarity with labor
To
rights.
not be scab freaks.
Like
Yeah.
this, and what people need to know is that like this whole like individualistic, like, hey, don't criticize me. That stuff is out the window. Like this is actually a good use of sort of social censure, and it can be, is my opinion, as unkind as it needs to be.
Yeah. Well, that stuff's awesome.
It's good to bully people who are breaking strikes, obviously.
It is,
but,
yes.
Ultimately, I think Hollywood, and it's not the only industry, has been doing its best to alienate people from the realities of who creates the products that people enjoy. People love the idea of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but have no real sense of but for a handful of really, really prominent writers' names like Joss Whedon, like who are really putting in the effort to make these things like actually exist and not like the production company, because they just treat labor like it's fungible. Like all labor is fungible. You can always get someone else to do it. You don't want to get Matt Damon. Well, then you hire Ben Affleck. And so, the product can always be delivered. And that's why I think a lot of people have a hard time getting on board with these strikes, because they still feel as though, striking shouldn't impact the product being delivered, because they've never considered that it actually takes individuals and individual labor to create these products. They just, they assume it's just capital. Just capital creates the Marvel movies. Capital is the one who, puts Spider-Man in the theaters, not the hundreds of thousands, millions maybe of animators who do the work. And, that's just how alienated we've come from, labor. And it's good that these strikes can remind us that it's not simply capital that's creating these things. It's the labor that produces them.
Yep.
Well said.